there's a way I have these instructions, but you have to use methyl alcohol. What you do first is you take like about an ounce of seeds, okay, and you grind them up in powder and you soak them for 2 days in about 100 cc's of petroleum ether. And the reason you do that is to get out the fat, the lipids and all that, and then you throw the liquid away, save the mush, let it dry out. Then you soak it for 2 days in 100 cc's of methyl alcohol, okay, and then you save that liquid.
So you're asking if you could substitute ethyl alcohol for methyl alcohol.
Say that again?
You're asking if you could substitute ethanol for methanol.
Right.
I don't remember offhand, but again, that information can be readily extracted from pharmacotheon in the chemical appendix.
Right, right. Okay, so I just go to a New Eastern store and ask for Eshpen.
Right.
Okay, and I was wondering if, would you ever consider, you know, for people who want to just collect it, I know it's in pharmacotheon, but would you ever consider republishing hallucinogenic plants in North America? Because I would buy it.
Not really, because as I say, the other book really supersedes it and is greatly more detailed, and I don't think there's much information. And I wrote it when I was a student. I'm not really,
Did you also write hallucinogenic mushrooms in North America?
Yes.
Okay,
well,
that's still available.
That's that's out of print also. That I would like to see reprinted, so if anyone's interested out there, I'd be happy to deal on it.
I am. And also, what about phencyclidine type compounds? I'd like to see...
I'm not really familiar with them. I haven't had personal experience with them. I'm more involved with the plant type compounds.
You're more right. And what do you think about iboga?
Iboga, well, I have had limited experience with that also, but I'm certainly intrigued by it.
Yeah, and another thing is in mushrooms, the hallucinogenic mushrooms, the psilocin and psilocybin, those are DMT analogs, and those...
But they are orally active in and of themselves, which makes them quite different from...
But if you smoke, on the other hand, if you smoke the mushrooms, then you can get the ones that are not, that are only active through combustion.
Well, but I don't think there isn't no one's found DMT in the mushrooms, to my knowledge. There are other tryptamines, but they seem to be active orally as well.
There's the 4-hydroxy-DMT, that's psilocybin.
Psilocin is 4-hydroxy-DMT, but that's active orally.
Right.
And it doesn't, we don't really know for sure, but it doesn't seem to be so active smoked.
Huh. And then there's also, I've heard that in South America, the snuffs, that there's a pina, that's the one they inhale, but they also make snuffs out of some of those same species in that area, and they smoke it. And you're thinking of the Anodonanthus, and they're in the Leguminosae family, the same family as Mimosa. And the Anodonanthus contain principally bufotenine, secondarily DMT, and some other tryptamines. They are, in fact, you're correct, they are both used smoked and in snuffs. Yeah, and they're active in snuffs. I don't know about smoking. I've only experienced them as snuffs. The sensitive plant in the Mimosa family, that's supposed to be active too, the seeds and the roots.
It hasn't been found to contain DMT or 5-methoxy-DMT, and there have been a couple of analyses published of it.
Huh, because High Times in one of their, they had a section on tropical hallucinogenic.
I wouldn't put too much stock in High Times for this type of information.
Well, it'd be interesting to check that out, though, to see if...
Yeah, sure, it's certainly possible.
And use that, try grinding up the seeds and smoking them with it.
Right.
All right, well, hey, thank you for both your time. Take care, everybody, and thanks for the information, too.
Sure.
Take care now.
Hello, you're on the air with Jonathan Ott.
Yes. Well, I actually got through. Yes, Mr. Ott, I was wondering about the legality of some of these things in terms of, the plants, many of these plants are legal to be owned as horticultural items, but their substances within them, like lysergic amides, lysergic acid amides, and other things in the sulfate side, the morning glory family, are regarded as illegal to be used as such. And I wondered about that, and I also wondered about the legality of 5-methoxy-NN-DMT, which was for many years, while DMT was illegal, completely illegal, the 5-methoxy form was available from places like Sigma in St. Louis, Missouri, and other chemical suppliers.
Well, unless there's been a decree in the last couple of months that I don't know about, I've been on a long trip, 5-methoxy-DMT is still not scheduled in the United States.
Interesting, because the Sigma catalog for the past few years has listed it as a controlled substance.
But it says quite specifically that no license is required.
About 3 years now. However, I could find nothing in any of the federal codes about, or even state codes about any specific illegality that was different than the wording of the law back in 1970.
No, it's neither scheduled nor is it on the watch chemicals list. And you could say the same thing for harmine, the alkaloids from ayahuasca, are in the same category. However, at the moment, I know Sigma will not sell compounds like this unless you give them a written protocol saying what you're going to use them for.
Yes,
even though it's not illegal and not on the watch chemicals list.
What about the legal practice of extracting and use? It was kind of put forth because it's never been clear, when the lysergic acid, amides, and so forth that are in morning glories and Woodrows were illegalized, but the plants and the seeds themselves, of course, were not. It was put forth by, it was not the DEA then, it was DN, Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. It was put forth by one of their officials that it was all right, in his opinion, it was all right to have the plants, the seeds, etc., but the moment you start to grind them up, it becomes a felony.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but your question about the legality of owning plants for horticultural purposes and so forth is a tremendous gray area in the law, and I'll tell you why that is. I think the approximate wording of the Controlled Substances Law is that any substance, mixture, compound, or preparation that contains any quantity of the following drugs, and then it goes on to mention salts and isomers, and then lists the drugs. But on the schedule, just talking about Schedule 1, where most of these entheogens are found, for example, you will find both mescaline and peyote, both THC and cannabis species. You'll find both not in the Schedule 1, but in other schedules you will find both cocaine and the coca plant, and both the opium poppy and its alkaloids, morphine and codeine. And in Schedule 1 you'll also find both cathinone and the khat plant. So one of the interpretations is if the legislature had intended, for example, to prohibit psilocybin mushrooms, they would have listed the species of mushrooms involved, even though they already listed psilocybin. So that's why it's a gray area, and the government has just studiously avoided any kind of clarification of this, but in general, in the few cases that have been brought regarding this phenomenon, it hasn't looked good for the defendants. Generally, the courts have taken a fairly liberal interpretation of this and have said, yes, in fact, a plant is a substance, mixture, compound, or preparation, and it doesn't matter whether, and that in some cases both a plant and a drug are listed, and its contained drug are listed in the schedule. I would recommend, there's a publication called the Entheogen Law Reporter that's published in Davis, California, that has always publishes up-to-date information on scheduling and on recent cases involving drug law, and so that would be a good resource to look for. I think you could probably find it in law libraries, or it's a newsletter. I think it's quarterly,
right.
$25. It's out of Davis, California, the Entheogen Law Reporter.